Here's the annoying part of YouTube. Not the criticism, because that's expected and can be helpful most of the time. But when someone takes something too seriously and thinks they are talking logical, but by doing so they are missing the point of a joke or the message in general, it's really sad. So there's this guy named a Bobo nickname who basically left me a short story on my comment section of one of my videos. I was going to respond to him like anyone else, but I felt with this guy, I needed to make a video to better explain what I'm saying and to correct him on his assumptions and explain simple common sense or a joke that apparently he didn't understand. I'm going to go real slow and dissect everything he said because I don't want to confuse him again. I never thought I'd have to explain something that is so obvious, but I guess not everyone has common sense. In the video, I made a joke about this.
And I've obviously bumped in with Kielbasa.
I honestly couldn't understand what he said, except for Kielbasa. I know what he was talking about, but just not the name that he said. Tevron and Kielbasa had a debate on YouTube about this very same topic, which was obvious, and I did mention that in the video, but since I couldn't understand the whole name that he said, I just joked and said, "Did he say kielbasa? You know, like the sausage?" Then I got a comment telling me very politely what the YouTuber's name was, and that name was The Awesome Kielbasa. And I was like, oh, okay. I couldn't understand the whole name, so I just made a joke about it. Then we get to this guy who inspired this video. A Bobo typed, "Try and understand before you rebuttal." Which I'm like, why does it even matter if I didn't understand his name? I knew what he was talking about, and I even mentioned it in my video. So who really cares about what the name was? I used the name for a joke, which flew over a Bobo's head. So the other guy in my comments section didn't understand what a Bobo said. So he replied to him saying, "Spud Nova." My reply was for MetalHorrorGamer. I said he should try and understand the context before he responds. There are times when he stops the video to respond, and when he plays it back, it happens to be that him and the dude are saying the same thing. Even though that's not true. I never said the same thing this guy said once. I even double checked. I said PC has more games, and he said that too, but he added that most aren't well developed, which is just an opinion and not a fact. And I did understand the context of what he was saying. Here's all of his points on why the console is better. Console games are better developed than PC games. PC is feeding off the multiplats from the consoles. Consoles have exclusives. Exclusives are better than indies. Consoles can have multiplats and exclusives. PC doesn't have PS4 exclusives. Hype makes games worth playing. If Spider-Man or any other console exclusive were on PC, PC gamers would be happy. You want everything when it comes to gaming and the good shit. Gaming is all about the games. PC gamers only care about hardware and marketing. PS Plus sucks. Marketing is bullshit. Crash Bandicoot has hype. If people know about a game, it means it's good. PC only has multi-platforms. There's a summary of Mr. Tevron's video. I understood everything he was talking about. I just did not understand the name of the YouTuber he debated with, which is irrelevant. So this guy is already trying to make up an issue that isn't even there. It seems he was going to hate whatever I said no matter what. But what can I expect from someone who is subscribed to Crap Gamer Reviews and Colt Eastwood? I didn't respond back because I felt there was no need to. The guy just sounded kind of dumb, and it's usually best not to respond to stupid comments like that on YouTube. But then he leaves another comment, I guess because he was hoping I would respond to the last one. His agenda is very clear at this point. Now keep in mind, this comment happens around almost 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and I was just about to go to bed when I read this. Your response is crap. Console superior race is in context of PC master race. He doesn't mean it like human race. If you can't figure that out, you shouldn't be making response videos. Now, usually I wouldn't have responded to a comment like this because there's really no point to, but he was so way off and I was tired, so I responded. His argument here is that my response is crap because I didn't understand what he meant when he said console superior race. He said he's talking about that in context of PC master race. You see, I made a joke by saying that consoles don't have a race because it's basically a piece of plastic. But this guy thinks I honestly didn't understand what he was trying to say. I understood everything Mr. Tevron said in his video, as I thought everyone else would too. So I made a joke out of it. but I guess some just don't understand. I know he is trying to say that console fans are the superior race by implying that he is part of the console master race, but his exact words were console superior race, which, taking what he said at face value, isn't the same thing. Hence why I made the joke. But Abobo honestly believes I'm stupid enough that I honestly thought he meant an actual race. I never thought I would have to explain a joke that was built around common sense, but whatever. The next few comments are very long, so I'm going to take everything one step at a time. When I woke up this morning, I woke up to all of these comments, and I was just like, whoa. So he then moves on to say, he is a console fanboy. He doesn't care about gamers, he wants consoles to win. He wants gamers to game on consoles. Well, yeah, that is obvious, which is why he made the video. I'm glad we agree on something. There are more people gain on console than PC, so yeah, he is right to say console wins. There are more people gain on console than PC. I'm pretty sure you mean there are more people who game on PC. You see, even though you use your words wrong, I still understand what you're trying to say. But does the console really have more gamers? According to this article, as of June 13, 2017, the PS4 has sold over 60.4 million consoles. And according to this article written on January 18, 2017, the Xbox One has sold about 26 million. So combined, that is 86.4 million consoles. If you look at just the numbers of active Steam accounts, it's at 125 million, according to this article. Sure, there are some variables to consider, like how many are actually still using their PCs for gaming, but numbers don't lie. 125 million is much bigger than 86.4 million, and even if we added the Nintendo Switch, that wouldn't make up the difference. So does this prove that PC has more gamers? No, because there are many variables to consider, but it goes to show you that consoles are no longer as big as they used to be. This generation alone, we have seen many people finally switch over to the PC, including myself. Many of us weren't happy with this generation's consoles, so we took that leap, and there are still many more doing it every day. So for you to say consoles win is wrong. It's not a fact. You want more proof? Microsoft had to start putting their games on the PC just to make up the cost, and even Sony has started to put their games on the PC with the PS Now. If consoles were winning and doing fine, they wouldn't be doing this. These actions can and will stop some people from buying a console. I have no need for an Xbox One when all the games are coming to the PC. I still think he was in context with MC Master Race, and if that's the case, it is what he means, not like the way you thought of it. MC Master Race. How did you even type that? The M is nowhere near the P on the keyboard. So you think he was in context? So do I, but I was making a joke because that was not his exact words. You're assuming that I didn't understand what he meant. If you can't figure that out, you shouldn't be typing comments. Not everyone can deliver something or do good presentations, but saying he should have said this is out of the question because that's what he was trying to say. I agree. I don't believe everything I've ever done for presentations are perfect, but honestly, when you create a slideshow or a video or whatever, you should be accurate with what you're saying. Anyone will tell you that, whether if it's for school, work, or even YouTube. You need to be accurate. I'm trying to give some constructive criticisms by making a joke out of it. This way he can improve his videos. I even mentioned that at the end of my video. At some point, we all need to improve, and criticism is very helpful sometimes. So it wasn't out of the question, because even though I knew what he was talking about, it doesn't change the fact that he wasn't saying what he wanted to say accurately. It's your job to try to understand something when you are not sure. Then ask for clarification if you can't figure it out. It's my job. I didn't know I was getting paid for this. But again, I knew what he was saying. You were the one who didn't understand the joke. I can't help if you didn't understand it, but maybe you should be sending this comment to yourself because it works against you too. You should have asked me for clarification if you didn't understand that I was making a joke. And saying console is the superior race is totally correct. Again, I already showed you the numbers, but I'm not saying PC gamers are the superior race. I'll say all day that PC gaming is superior to consoles, but a gamer is a gamer no matter what platform they choose. If you really want to know who's superior, it is the people who don't limit themselves to one platform. Race means competition also as well as taxonomic group. So you are the one who doesn't get anything here. Racing does mean a specific competition, but I knew he wasn't talking about that kind of race. That was pretty obvious. So again, send your comment back your way because it applies to you. You simply don't get it. Also, people get backlash for stating facts all the time, and that's to be expected if you have fanboys around the corner. True, very true. But obviously, I have seen his video before I made my video. So thus, I already knew what his argument was. He wasn't stating facts, but rather opinions, and the few comments he made that were facts weren't a part of his argument. So after all of that, he still kept typing. He didn't mean to shove his fist up their ass, literally. You are so set on talking trash about this guy that you don't stop to reason at what you watched. Oh my god. Are you serious? Of course he isn't being literal. That was fucking obvious. I don't honestly believe he's going to hunt down every PC gamer and shove his fist up their fucking ass. It's common sense. For someone who's preaching about understanding, you don't seem to understand anything. I wasn't even talking trash. I only talk trash to people who are being assholes. Mr. Tevron wasn't being an asshole at all. So I made a fun little response video that's not meant to be taken so seriously. You must be a riot to hang out with. Again, you are saying exactly what he is saying. Again, you give no example of this, but even if you did, I'm sure you are wrong because you misunderstood everything so far. As I mentioned earlier, I double checked and that's not true. PC got games, but many of them are crap. Sure they do, but so does the consoles. So does the handhelds and mobile devices. That's inevitable. But again, this doesn't prove anything. The games that come to consoles, I mean the big names, always put the consoles at high priority because that's where they make most of their cash. The big names should. They put so much money into marketing, it would be a fail if it didn't grab attention. So what's your point? Up until recently, that Microsoft decided to support the PC as well as some of PlayStation games. I know, I already explained this. You don't seem or want to let him reach his point before you respond. He never mentions the Xbox exclusive games are coming to PC or PS Now. Why are you putting words into his mouth? He was just talking about third-party games are coming to PC and that PC is feeding off the consoles, which isn't true at all. You're making shit up. I did let him reach his point. I didn't cut anything from his video. It's all there, but his points were opinions. And then he just keeps on going with another comment. PC games have better frame rates on a more powerful system. Yep, but even weaker PCs can have better frame rates because gamers can customize their settings to get the best FPS possible. You can't do that on the consoles. The developers choose how you play your games for you. Give a PC the same specs of the Xbox One and see if it will perform better. Yeah, it still could get better performance because gamers can set all their games to low settings to get the best FPS possible. You are comparing apples to oranges. If you want to major performance, match the specs and see which does better. PC will always do better. I don't even know why you're bringing this up. This hurts your argument. And then he keeps going. There's another comment. His point is no one will spend $60 on indie games. Again, he never even said this. Stop trying to use him for your agenda. And they are small developers, mostly developing basic games. A lot of indies have more depth to their gameplay than AAA games do now. So why do you say basic? Some are, yeah, but not all of them. Ever heard of The Witcher 3? That's an indie game. There's nothing basic about that. He is not saying indie games are not games. That's a straw man on your side. Isn't he though? He clearly said that indies aren't the good shit. Most console fanboys talk down about indies because most of them don't consider them real games. I've seen that stupid argument so many times. And finally, we get to the last comment so far, and it's a doozy. First of all, you were not correcting him. You were attacking him. Attacking, maybe it can be seen that way, but not in any kind of a vicious way. I have no ill will for Mr. Tevron. He seems like a good enough person. He just seems so unsure of himself and confused most of the time. Every time he said something in the wrong term, I corrected him with the right term. And I agree if you attack him, but make sure you understand what he is saying first. I do, but make sure before you comment, you actually understand what I'm saying first. He said a lot of nonsense, but it looks like everything he said was nonsense to you, when there are in fact a lot of things that are true from what he said, and a few times you ended up making the same point with him. Not once did he say anything that was a fact except for the ones that I showed, and those weren't his real points on why consoles are better. It was all opinions, and I already said I never repeated anything he said. I get backlash for saying this fact in quotes. You can't build a PC for the cost of the Xbox One X that matches all its features and outperforms it just for $500. That attracts PC guys who lie. They can build a system for even less, calling me ignorant and uneducated, but never back their claim with facts. For them to even build anything that will get close to the Xbox One X, their starting cost must be $450 for 3 mandatory components: motherboard, optical drive, and CPU. Here you go. $500 PCs that kill the Xbox One. Oh, and an optical drive isn't really a mandatory component. Most people don't use them. I would have said a GPU because the GPU is the graphics card. So yeah, that's pretty damn mandatory. The motherboard and CPU as well, but not the optical drive. The ones that I just showed you on YouTube, these are just a few. There are a lot more builds out there. Since PC parts are getting cheaper all the time, and since the consoles had outdated hardware at release, it's not hard for PC gamers to build cheap PCs to outperform the consoles in every way. That quote is not a fact. You have been shown the truth. You just refuse to accept it. You have to learn to live with that. The race thing was not a joke. At least admit when you are wrong. I would if I was. But it was a joke. I'm sorry you couldn't comprehend that. Other people clearly did. Again, you must be a riot to hang out with. I try to understand what people are saying before I respond, and like I said, before I don't get it, I ask them for clarification. Not true. You didn't ask me for clarification for what I was saying. You just assumed you knew what you were talking about, and you should know what assumptions make out of people. You don't even take your own advice. I didn't need clarification because I knew what Mr. Tavron was saying. He uses his words wrong, but he's not hard to understand. I don't agree with majority of what he said, but I also try to help him. How? By putting words into his mouth? To allow your argument to have a better footing? You have done nothing but try to berate me because you didn't understand that I understood everything he said. You're trying to make yourself look smart on YouTube, but you're failing miserably. I don't want to make you look stupid on YouTube, but I can't stop you from doing it to yourself. I have the same problem too. I have bad presentation skills. So do I. But we don't learn if we aren't called out on it. Like I mentioned earlier, you have taken this video way too seriously, and because of that, you have missed the point and the jokes flew right over your head. I feel this is the reason why you typed all these comments. It would seem like I hit a nerve. Creating a presentation isn't easy. We are supposed to make sure everything we say is easily understandable and make sure we use our words correctly if we want to be taken seriously. If we don't, that can hurt our credibility. When you combine the sales of Battlefield alone for all consoles, it surpassed that of PC when you combine 360, Xbox One, and PS4. Consoles push more units combined. Which Battlefield? You didn't even say which one. But you don't take into consideration that maybe not every PC gamer wants a Battlefield game. Not to mention that PC gamers have so many options to choose from, they may never ever even get to that title. And it doesn't help that you can only get the newer ones on Origin, which most PC gamers hate. The consoles may push more units, because when you're on the consoles, there isn't a library of thousands upon thousands of games to choose from. Your selection is very limited. I shouldn't have to make this video, but your comments were way off the mark. You clearly didn't understand when I was joking or being serious. And apparently I touched a nerve because you took this as a personal attack on yourself. I'm sorry for that. It wasn't aimed at you, but hopefully you understand this because I went as slow as I could. I never assumed that I would have to explain common sense. But wow, this was just wild. I'm sure you will see this video and you most likely will comment again but please don't make up shit and try to call me out. If you keep writing these long, short stories and making shit up, there will be a part 2 of this. I'm just letting you know that right now. I've explained everything here, and I tried to make it as simple as I could. So hopefully you understand me better now. If not, then there's not much more I can do. Again, like Mr. Tevron, I don't hate you. I don't really wish any ill will to you either, but I don't like you obviously trying to call me out while lying about it, because if you're going to do that, then I will defend myself like I'm doing now. So hopefully you learn from this. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's not much more I can say about it. Well, until next time, just keep on gaming, gamers.